Uh, I'd like to now pass on the floor to each of the business heads so that they can talk about their expectations for the second half of this year.
The supermarket group, we opened about 9 stores in the first half of the year, and we still have about 21 to go until the end of the year. Um, Last week we opened another one, so basically we have 20 to go until December. And so far we can report optimistically to you that we have been growing and we will grow even farther, faster at the second half of the year. We are on track. We are even ahead on certain areas, and we are on track on the bottom line, definitely. There are a few glitches in terms of challenges that we have. That's basically because of we converted some macro stores, and due to that, the sales growth is not that good, because basically last year we had 10 stores of macro, and this year, beginning of this year, we had 4 stores. And these are the one that we need to take care of. But I expect next year everything will be very, very smooth with the food group. But the opportunities are basically for our Save More in the province, as what Cora mentioned already before. So everything is as planned, and we think that the second half of the year will be very, very promising. Thank you.
We currently have 41 department stores, and we will be opening 3 more in the last quarter of the year. Despite the lackluster performance of the non-food, as we have seen, as presented by Cora, we feel that we will be able to deliver better figures on the second half, considering that in July alone we grew already by 15%. I hope this continues, and if this continues, probably we will end the year by about 11%.
Everyone, for SM Prime, as you've seen in the announcements that we've made, I think Tuesday, SM Prime posted 14% growth in the first half of the year. For the second half of the year, we will open SM Olongapo, and then we'll also open the expansion of SM Dasmariñas and Davao, plus SM City San Fernando. The company will be able to sustain, I think, more than 10% growth even on the second half, given the strong first half indications or numbers that we have. In China, we will continue to generate more contribution because the malls are now performing very well. We had, as Cora mentioned, also 100% growth in net income for the first half. We're able to actually get international brands in China like Zara, Muji, Uniqlo. So this is actually giving us the momentum in terms of the succeeding malls, given that the good sales that these tenants are generating in our shopping centers in China. So we will continue to open 1 mall in China up to 2013, and then beyond that we'll probably open 2 malls every year. In the Philippines, maybe just to give you an update, with the recent implementing rules of the REIT law, we don't think that we will actually avail of the structure given the requirement on the minimum public ownership. So we'll just have to wait and see, how things will be and who will go into the market. You might also be asking about the Bacolod case, and I might as well just, answer it now. I cannot really comment much on that because we were granted already a TRO for 60 days, and the provincial government is supposed to respond to that. And beyond that, we cannot really discuss the case. Thank you.
For SMDC, as you've seen, we increased our net income by 54% June of last year to June of this year. That brings up our net income for the first half to 1.93 billion. We're quite bullish that we can hit the 4.3 billion that we projected. Our sales for the first half, as has been reported, is roughly 10.7 billion. And just to share with you, for the month of July, although there will be probably some more validation here to be done, we were able to book reservation sales of around 3 billion pesos, slightly over 3 billion pesos. in that regard. We are quite confident with the remaining 5 months to go for the year, we will be able to reach our committed target of 23.5 billion or around 24 billion to attain the net income of 4.3 billion. That will give us a growth from last year of around 44%. For the first half of the year, we did not launch any new projects. We just went on with our existing inventory. But for the second half, in July, we already launched 2 projects. One is the M Place in Ortigas, which is fronting Meralco Avenue. And the other project is Meza 2 Residences, which is just a stone's throw away from our SM Santa Mesa. Or we call it now, I think, SM Manila. We will be opening 3 more projects before the end of the year. This would be the Green Residences. If anybody here is a Lasallian, you would know that this is right beside the Brother Andrew structure. We will also be opening Shell Residences, which is across our current C Residences, behind our offices, some of our other offices in the Mall of Asia complex. And lastly, we will be opening the second phase of Grass Residences, which is very near our SM North EDSA project. So with these 3 additions, we hope to be able to attain our objectives, and we are quite confident that, especially towards the end of the year, with all the OFWs coming back home and probably having more cash to spend, we will be able to tap this market that we have been wanting to develop for a long time. So we're looking forward to contributing to the parent company as we promised. Thank you.
For Banco de Oro, I think we've seen good growth numbers so far from our lending business and our deposit-taking business, and also from the business services that we offer our clients. We think that if we're able to sustain this pace of growth, we would have a very good chance of achieving our full-year targets, despite the pressures on pricing or margins that we've seen in the early part of the year. I think the recent moves of the BSP and coupled with the prospects of higher loan growth coming from the large projects to be bidded out by the government should prove very positive for the banking system, and we hope to be able to capture a good portion of that growth moving forward.
I would like to confirm that one of the biggest challenge for the banking industry is the continued presence of the excess liquidity in the system. The combined SDA and RRP in the system is about 1.7 trillion pesos, which equivalent to about 64% of the total loans of the banking system and 25% of the total assets of the banking system. So that kind of liquidity overhang continues to be a challenge in terms of being able to reprice the loans going forward. Even as at the start of the year, we were hoping that the increase in the policy rates of the central bank would give us some leeway to look at the possible improvement in the loan yields. The reduction in the loan yields has actually decelerated in the second quarter compared to the first quarter, but the prospect of reversal is not as high as we were expecting it at the start of this year. So that continues to be a challenge. Of course, the market moved in our favor of the banks in the second quarter, so the trading gains were relatively much better than the very bad first quarter. So we reversed our 14% decline first quarter to an 11% increase for the whole of the first semester. So our second quarter was actually 70% better than the first quarter of this year and 36% better than Q2 of last year. So we're back on track to meet our target. we're basically still shooting for a 15% ROE, and we are still in the midst of our branch expansion, and to beef up our savings bank component, we have elected a new president in the person of Joey Ramos. He used to head our private banking group, so he now heads the savings bank effective August 1. And so we expect to see some additional progress going forward for the savings bank component. Thank you.
By the way, we also have Mr. Dave Rafael, who heads our commercial properties group. Maybe Dave, you can talk about the prospects for commercial space in the second half, considering that you're opening 2 e-com by November.
The business of the office space, the office demand is still largely being driven by the BPOs, which is the sunshine industry right now of the Philippine economy. So we remain very bullish about that segment. But what we're also finding in our experience in 2 e-com is that we're getting a lot of these shipping companies who want to locate in the Bay Area. Most of them are in very old buildings in the Manila port area, and so now that there is this new building, we're finding a lot of migration from these shipping companies. So we think that this will continue, and this will account for a big portion of the take-up of 2 e-com. As of now, we haven't really finished construction of 2 e-com, already 50% taken up now. So we're planning to break ground for 3 e-com, which is going to be pretty much the same size now, by about maybe the first quarter of next year, to continue addressing this demand for BPOs as well as for the shipping companies. Thanks.
I guess this is what makes me happy to be the CFO of SMIC. Every morning I smile because I know its subsidiary is working very hard. They are in expansion mode and they are delivering. So I always say, what else can I do? But beyond that, we know that the group is expanding, continue to expand, because we always look on a long-term basis. For SMIC, we feel that we can meet our budget, which we have been expressing this throughout. It's between 12 to 14% growth on a net income level. Beyond that, I think on SMIC level, we also are looking at what's happening in the world. As you know, even the US have that problem about debt. So it just shows that SM philosophy of low gearing ratio is good, because you have now the debt, even the US, Europe, even the Japan. So how this affects us as a group? We're looking at our debt profile, our maturity. We are concerned about the possibility of rate of interest will go up because there is a pressure about inflation. So we are working towards on a group basis. But beyond this year, will be also looking what will in the 3 years time. Where are we going? We should not lose track of our long-term goal for what is happening on a short-term basis. Looks like our three years plan will be discussed before the end of the year, and I guess the group will have a rosy picture. So that will be summing up the group.